New Jersey-based alternative pop-punk band Good Damage released their third single, Just Alive, on October 24th. And I'm joined by the band, Isabella, Justin, and Cooper. Guys, how's it going?
Great. How are you? Thanks for having us on.
Just doing absolutely fantastic. How are you guys feeling today? Because I understand you guys played a Halloween show last night, right?
Yeah, we just played it for a release, which was awesome.
Went really well, actually. Everything all around. Pretty good sound, pretty good feel.
So did you guys dress up?
Sort of, yeah. We all did makeup.
Mm-hmm. Darren dressed up as a Jedi, which was pretty cool.
I felt bad. We were doing like skeleton makeup, and he was like skeleton Luke Skywalker. But that's okay. He still looked cool.
That's all right. And I haven't really seen what the trends are this year, but were there any notable Halloween costumes out in the crowd?
The first band that went on, Milkshake Grenade, they were doing Gotham heroes and villains. So I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, Isabella or Justin, but I think it was Nightwing, Joker, Batman, and Superman.
Yes,
was. I'm assuming that other guy was Nightwing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I think that's what they mentioned, because then I asked, and he was like, I don't know, it's funny, no one's understanding who I am today for some reason. And I was like, well, it kind of looks like Nightwing, so that's what I assumed, because everyone else is Gotham hero, but
I guess that was it, yeah. Joker dude was pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Right on. So hopefully you guys were taking notes for next Halloween. You guys maybe can all get together and on point as a group, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right on. So we spent some time in New Jersey, specifically Asbury Park, a few years ago for the See Here Now Festival.
Nice.
Awesome music scene there. Awesome place. And we stayed in, I think it's Point Pleasant Beach. Do I have that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I was wondering, where are you guys located in New Jersey?
So Darren and I are from Middlesex County, and then
I'm from Glen Ridge, so it's northern. It's kind of it's a very, very small town.
So you guys have been together since about 2022.
Yes.
So yeah, tell me the story about Good Damage, and how did you guys meet, and how did you form a band?
Darren and I went to middle school and high school together, so we've known each other for a long time. And we kind of got started around 2022, and then with some lineup changes, Cooper, when did you start playing with us? 2023?
I think it must have been. It was actually, funny enough, the first two shows I did were December 20th and December 30th.
So yeah, 2023.
23, yeah.
Justin just started playing with us recently.
Yeah, probably my first show with Good Damage was in April. I think I was officially in the band around July, though. So pretty recent.
I've read some quotes from you guys that says Good Damage would fit right in with people's playlists of kind of some up-and-coming bands like Killing Pixies, Megan from Work, or more veteran bands like Green Day and My Chemical Romance. So how would you describe your sound, guys, and what musicians and bands have influenced you all individually, and what do you bring to the band?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, our main sound, but I think we all get a mix from our own influences, like you said. I mean, I'm a big 80s hair metal guy, so I listen to, Warrant, Skid Row, Rat, those are all my favorites. And I take influence from those drummers and try and combine it with what I know from, the pop punk scene and mix it into what we have now. So it's definitely different, but it's really cool what we're able to kind of pull together.
I take a lot of influence from 90s and 2000s emo, alternative rock, bands like My Chem, Radiohead, but also some newer stuff, really into modern baseball. But yeah, just kind of anything. I'm a big Paramore fan, and I love all that lyricism. It's really important to me with writing music for this band. And I know Darren is into a lot of classic rock and metal.
Right on. So you guys kind of take all those influences together and are working at making your own sound, I guess, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's dig into some of the music you've released. So just this week, you've released Just Alive. Really love the vibe with that song. Nice pop punk tune. Great vocals, really compliments, really kind of like silky guitar. So I really noticed that and really liked that. But how did this song kind of come together?
So this was a while ago. It was actually one of the first songs that we kind of put together. And it's been kind of building ever since. It started out a little bit more simple, and then over the years, I think Darren might have gotten a little bored of playing the same guitar part, so he's been experimenting with some different lines and things, and we just had a really great time recording it. It was actually inspired by a night that me and some of my friends went to a concert a few years back, and afterwards we were all like running around trying to find our car. I don't know, it just sounded like a really fun song.
Definitely comes across. And another single that was released earlier this year, Better Off Alone, sounds like more of a grungier punk sound with a guitar. Yeah. And I was reminded, and I told you guys I'm from Canada. It reminds me, when I heard you singing, Isabella, on that, it reminded me of a a younger version of one of Canada's best pop punk stars, Avril Lavigne. So when I heard you singing, I was like, oh, it sounds like young Avril. So maybe tell me about tell me about that song.
That was also a really awesome one to record, just kind of inspired by some life events and also some other music. It's really funny. I was listening to a lot of Paramore and Avril Lavigne while we were kind of working on that. So I'm glad it came across. I love her early stuff. It's a big compliment for me. I really appreciate that. Cooper, I don't know. How did you feel about that whole process? I know you kind of came in after that was written, but you obviously have your own spin on things.
Yeah, it was really fun getting to... This was the first experience I had, I think, with non-hard rock metal stuff, because, I come from a Motley Crue cover band. I had a heavier alternative rock band before. So getting to learn and add my own style to these songs was really fun. And I think Better Off Alone was probably the one I had the most fun with, just because I got to mess around with it so much, and it was such a groovy song almost. So I really enjoyed getting to record that. And the guy we worked with, Anthony, is an awesome producer, and he definitely showed us some stuff to add that was, it brought it from where it was to the next level. And I think that was probably my favorite one to do in the studio.
We had a lot of fun with that one.
Mm-hmm.
So Just Alive, Better Off Alone have been released this year. The single Forget November was released last year. So is this part of a bigger project, guys? Maybe an EP in the works?
I'd say we're working towards that. I don't know if we're 100% ready. We're kind of playing around with some new stuff and hopefully bringing in some new tunes pretty soon. But yeah, we also have a couple more that we'd like to record and maybe put together for a larger project.
You seem to really be taking a DIY approach with your band. I heard from you guys directly to set this interview up. And I saw Isabella, you were credited with the artwork for the Just Alive single. So do you feel that this do-it-yourself approach is important for the band to get started? And what are some of those pros and cons, I guess, with that approach?
I think it definitely gives us a lot of freedom to figure out what we want to do, what works, what doesn't work. And I think that's really helpful, especially for us, because we can just, use this time to experiment and not have to worry about really, I guess, almost like living up to a certain standard, if that makes sense. Not in that way, but in that way at the same time, just because, if we want to do this show or we want to write something like this, we don't have anyone telling us, no, you have to do it this way, or no, you have to produce something this way. So I think doing it ourselves definitely gives us that freedom aspect, which is super helpful, especially honestly for any band. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's also definitely a lot more work on the booking and kind of self-managing side of things, but it's a lot of fun to be able to do things our own way and figure out which path we want to take.
We talked about you guys, recording songs and putting out singles, that sort of thing. But tell me about playing live and how do you guys approach playing live shows, as compared to recording singles?
Actually, it's funny. Like last night, I think was one of the first times where we kind of went through and were changing the set list every, maybe 1 or 2 hours, just because we didn't really know which songs we wanted to do, which songs would go over better. But I think almost all the time we always prioritize our originals over the covers. And when we're doing covers, we try to do covers that we want to do, of course, because, no one wants to be on stage playing something they don't want to play, but also something that everyone knows and everyone can sing along to. So, we did Stacy's Mom last night. I feel like a good amount of people know that song. We did Dirty Little Secret by, I'm pretty sure, the All American Rejects. I think. Yeah. I know. I'm not as familiar with this stuff as they are, but that's a really fun one to do. And yeah, I think playing the originals live are so much more fun than listening to it, just because we get to almost experience it with everyone we're playing for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You guys have shared the stage with some great acts already. Someone that was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Artemis Pyle and lush. What have you learned from playing alongside these artists or artists like them?
Something that's, I guess, really important to me that I've taken from those experiences is that no matter how much talent you might have or skill on your instrument or whatever, and no matter how many connections you might have in the industry, I think the thing that I've carried away from those experiences of, meeting with or working with those people is the lasting impression is absolutely their personality and character and the kindness and, work ethic that they show up with. Artemis Pyle, with the opportunity to talk with him before the show, during the show. He let Cooper play his kit, which was awesome,
that was
like
insane.
incredible. And he was just like the kindest person. He pulled up a chair to watch all the openers. I mean, the man is in his mid-70s and he's still driving the tour bus. And I feel like that kind of character is a big part of why he's gotten where he's gone in his life. And that's what I remember.
I think another big part of it too is just like remembering that there was a point in time where all of these giant musicians were doing the exact same thing that we were doing. I mean, obviously with differences in like time periods and whatnot and decades, but as much as you'd think they would change, like deep down, they're still the same young adult looking for shows, driving around, doing as much as they can in as little time as possible. And it really shines through when you play with them too, because you actually get to talk with them on a personal level and understand how they got to where they are and find similarities. And it's really fun.
Sounds like you guys are really taking away some of the good qualities and you guys are on the right track and staying true to the music and focusing on that. So that's fantastic. But is there any more shows in the works? And when are we going to see you guys up in Canada?
So we're working on a couple shows for December, and then obviously into the new year. I think we're planning on playing in Nashville soon. That's where I go to school and live most of the year and kind of fly back and forth when I have to. So we're traveling around a little bit. But I don't know, Canada, I think that's on the list for some time. I want to try to get over there. I know you said you're located in Toronto, right?
Kind of in between Toronto and Detroit, more closer to Detroit though, and so okay. Southwestern Ontario though, yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll definitely do our best to get over there sometime soon. That'd be really fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, and two, going to school in Nashville, that's like Music City, right? So that's got to be, there's got to be some cool opportunities there for you guys, right? Right on. Well, everyone can follow Good Damage on Spotify or Instagram or YouTube. Guys, thank you very much for taking the time with me today. It's been a pleasure, and we're going to look forward to more music from Good Damage.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.